And Wizards of the Coast right now is literally telling us, fuck it, we don't care anymore, build your own shit. Last week I did a video about the new edition of Dungeons & Dragons coming out in 2024 called One D&D and my genuine excitement for it. But a lot of you took that as me agreeing with everything they're doing in the playtest right now. And I'm here to tell you that I absolutely do not. As a matter of fact, there are a bunch of things in One D&D that I am genuinely worried about. Hi there fellow role players and game masters, I am Mr. Tarask and welcome to my channel. If you're new to the channel, make sure to subscribe, hit the thumbs up, do whatever you need to do, because this is your one stop for 5th edition Dungeons & Dragons, and today I want to talk about One D&D, and I want to start off with just saying quickly why I am actually excited for it, and I'm still genuinely excited for it, but there are a few issues that really need to be addressed. First of all, I am excited for it, not for the decisions they took right now, but for the potential decisions they might make in the future. And it's really weird to explain, but I just like the way they are thinking. I did this entire video on it, so I will not go in depth on that part, but just the way they think. First of all, something like putting the ability scores improvements into your background instead of your race, for me personally makes a shit ton of sense. It's just really a good idea. I absolutely like it. Also makes backgrounds way more important for your character. I also like that they're moving away from half races as being standard races and just having the races, and then you can create your own half race from that. I absolutely love that idea, but I do not really like the execution they did. I will talk about that later in this video. So I will talk about a few points that I don't like about One D&D right now, and I just want to add to that, when the survey is rolled out in order for us to give our feedback on the playtest, please, for the love of God, fill it in. I beg you, because we want 2024 D&D to be a good D&D. So the first thing that needs to be addressed is something that I've seen in my comments on Discord, on Twitter, a heck of a lot, and rightfully so. And it is in the Character Origins Unearthed Arcana 2022 document that you can still download from Wizards of the Coast. It is a playtest for the 2024 version of D&D, and it's on page 19 to be exact. There is a part called Critical Hits, right? Weapons and unarmed strikes have the special features for player characters. Critical hit. If a player character rolls a 20 for an attack roll with a weapon or an unarmed strike, the attack is also a critical hit, which means it deals extra damage to the target. You roll the damage dice of the weapon or unarmed strike a second time and add the second roll as extra damage to the target. For example, a mace deals bludgeoning damage equal to 1d6 plus your strength modifier. If you score a critical hit with the mace, it instead deals 2d6 plus your strength modifier. If your weapon is unarmed strike, has no damage dice, it deals no extra damage on a critical hit. So I didn't really read into this the first time I read this. It was just critical hits. Yeah, on a 20 you crit, whatever. But there's two issues here. One I'm not really sure of, but one issue is they really say out loud, weapons and unarmed strikes have a special feature for player characters. Some of the most exciting times at my table is when I crit as a dungeon master. Not only for me, but for my players. All my players will notice. I roll in the open. I roll my dice in the open where my players can see them. Now you might be saying you should roll behind a dungeon master screen, but because otherwise you can't really cheat, and as a dungeon master you should cheat so your players stay alive longer and have better chances. Well, I cheat in a lot of different ways. I'm constantly cheating to make the game more fun for my players, but I don't do it on the dice. As a matter of fact, it's a really good video idea on how to cheat without fudging the dice, right? Anyway, I call it cheating. It's not real cheating because you're the DM. Anyway, critting is one of those moments, because when I roll a d20 and it crits, it's a 20 on the die. Those faces that my players make, they start looking at each other. Holy shit, it critted! Hey, oh no, who has it crit? Oh no, and you only have 50 hit points left, and the freaking Hydra crit you, and now you only have oh my god. And then I have these 6d6 or 7d6 or freaking 12d6 in my hand, and I just roll them all on the table and start adding them up, and then add modifiers to them. People absolutely eat that up. It's exciting, it's scary, And it makes the game so fun. Now, of course, it's D&D. If I still want my monsters to crit, my monsters will crit at my table. But taking it out of like the standard stuff, like the standard books, and I don't know really for sure if they were going with this when they wrote it, but like if monsters, i.e. the DM, cannot crit, it takes, for me personally, a lot of excitement out of the game. It will, of course, make the game more approachable to some people, but please, for the love of God, give people the choice to also have crit for monsters, because you want people to go down every now and then, so other people have the chance to pick them back up and save their lives. For me, that's the excitement of D&D. Another thing is, somebody told me, like, if you read into this text, it means, it's a little vague for me, but it kind of means that only your weapon die, because, which means it deals extra damage to the target. You roll the damage dice of the weapon or unarmed strike one more time. So, meaning that if you have sneak attack, normally in the old rules, in the 5th edition rules, when you have sneak attack that does 3d6 extra damage, or you have a smite that does 2d8 extra damage, those crit as well. You get to roll them twice as well. For me, it's again, same thing, excitement. A paladin that sits there just rolling attacks until they hit that freaking crit and decide to use their highest spell slot in order to make that crit even more and have like a bunch of damage and do like 150 damage in one turn or something like that, just because they crit and they use their spells. That's excitement. A rogue only gets 1 attack per round. It is built to do like a lot of damage to one target, and that's just a part of the excitement that I think is going to be taken away if we get this this ruling for critical hits. And that's why in the survey, please, for the love of God, don't agree with this, because for me personally, this just does not work. Another thing that I don't agree with, well, I have to say, a thing that I do agree with is them taking away half races as standard races. So a half elf is just like a half elf and a human, instead of half elf being separate race, right? Am I making any sense? I just like that they're having the vanilla races or whatever they want to do, and then you be able to create your own half race from picking human, picking elf, smacking that together, and you got like a half human, whatever. The way they think is really good, and you can pick like your stuff from your first race and stuff from your second race, but they are right now, they're just doing that you can take your race options game traits from one race, size, speed, special traits, and then mix and match visual characteristics. Well, you've always been able to do that, visual characteristics. If I wanted to be a pink freaking orc, I could have been a pink freaking orc since the beginning of time, right? But this is just saying something that already exists and people are already doing, like, hey, I'm a half elf, but my ears aren't as pointy as my other kin because I'm actually like kind of a quarter elf, stuff like that. It's really cool to do, but it already exists. Half race building should have more than this just little gray box that's just filler to me personally. There is this book, An Elf and an Orc Had a Little Baby, and then there's a book, An Elf and an Orc Had a Little Baby 2, which are 2 books about this, about how you take traits from one and the other, smack them together and create your own half race while still being balanced. You can't just take everything from the elf and everything from the human. No, you just take some things from the human, some things from the elf, and you get like this balanced half race. And that system is really, really good. You can download the book. It's the link in the description below. I did a review on it. That kind of system, not exactly that, but I want to see that kind of system in the 2024 version of Dungeons & Dragons. Now, this is a little bit more subtle. Allow me to explain. When I play a game, either it being chess, backgammon, Settlers of Catan, freaking Monopoly, I need a game to have boundaries. Lines that say, these are everything in between these lines are the rules. And it is up to you as a player to manipulate those rules in a way that makes you win the game. Now, you technically can't really win at Dungeons & Dragons, but for me, every time when a group has a good time, they defeat the bad guy or whatever, they go through the dungeon, they kind of win at D&D, and it's their job to manipulate the rules on their character. Well, that's a part of the game, right? To manipulate those rules that you have to do the coolest thing and do the most damage or have the best social encounter or whatever. And with this, just really takes away from that. It is build your own background. It really sounds really cool. But basically all that it is saying is take whatever freaking background you want and change whatever you want about it whenever you want. Because like having this section right here, this section undermines having sample backgrounds. Like these are now really sample backgrounds. They are not backgrounds anymore, they are sample backgrounds. Because I can just take the acolyte background, or no, I can just take the whatever, I can be the guard background, which gives me +2 strength and plus wisdom. Fuck that, I'm going to take +2 charisma plus wisdom. Skill proficiencies, athletics and perception, nah, I'm gonna take athletics and freaking history, I don't care. Tool proficiency, gaming set, nah, just give me a boat to ride. Language, dwarvish, nah, I'm gonna speak abyssal. Feats, I'm just gonna take another toughness or something like that, first level feat. That takes away from this, because this is something that somebody thought through and they put work into these backgrounds, and then another part of the game is just like build your own shit. And Wizards of the Coast right now is literally telling us, fuck it, we don't care anymore, build your own shit. Was that too harsh? Might have been too harsh. You get the idea. And last but not least, since I'm dissing Wizards of the Coast, and it might be my greatest worry, it is monetization from Wizards of the Coast. I'm really scared Wizards of the Coast is going to play Monopoly with this one. First of all, they have a virtual tabletop coming in the insanely good looking Unreal 5 engine. My computer will probably explode when I try to use it, but a lot of people will want to use it. They bought D&D Beyond, meaning that they now own it and they can offer a lot of cool things. But they also have a lot of great opportunities for monetization, and I'm really afraid they're going to turn into EA games. If you know me, you know that I fucking hate EA games. I'm sorry for the foul language, but I really have like a hatred towards that company and other video game companies, because they really screw us over, the video gamers. They really screw us over with microtransactions and everything. And I just hope, for the love of God, Wizards of the Coast is not going into that direction. They all are already a little bit like virtual dice that cost money and everything, but there are a lot of companies doing that. But now with this virtual tabletop, you literally can create your own character in the form of a miniature and then put it in digitally in this virtual tabletop, which I think for them is a good opportunity to earn money. They might charge, I don't know, $9.99 for you to create your own character and have that as a puppet in that virtual tabletop. They might ask like money for virtual dice, but also they were really keen on saying like, now we can really offer digital books like the PDF, the D&D Beyond version of a book you buy physically. But that is another opportunity for them potentially to only offer it through their web shop or whatever. If you buy a physical book through whatever, D&D Beyond, I don't know, then you get your PDF or your virtual copy of it. What I hope there is gonna happen that is that if you buy a book from the 2024 edition, like an official book off of Amazon, brick and mortar store, support your brick and mortar stores, by the way, wherever you buy it, there should be a code inside that you can enter into D&D Beyond, because now they have D&D Beyond, it goes to the same company, but there should be a code in it that if you enter it, you get your digital copy on D&D Beyond as well. There's just so much opportunity for them to play Monopoly, to monetize on this, and I just really hope they will not do it in an extent that I'm afraid of they will do. And that's it, although I'm still really excited for 2024 to see the new edition of Dungeons & Dragons, because I really think some of the thought process of some of the people that work at Wizards of the Coast is really, really cool, and I just want to see what they're going to do with it. I can't wait to get the next one, fill in the survey, get the next one, fill in the survey, and just help shape the basic rules of Dungeons & Dragons for everybody to enjoy. But I also have my worries, which I explained in this video, and I really can't wait. And I will keep you up to date on D&D 1, see what they do with it, what the next play session will be, what the next play test will be, whatever. I will keep looking at One D&D for you and tell you what I like, what I don't like. And until next video, bye bye.